Alright, YouTube. So in this video, I'm gonna be showing y'all two trade breakdowns. Well, actually four trade breakdowns on two different pairs. So two entries that I got into and two of them that I missed. So let me go and break down GJ first. So we're gonna start on the daily time frame as usual. Um, draw my 4-hour structure for my daily. So I got this low, high, higher low, higher high. So once I draw structure, I then use my Fibonacci from the low to the high, and I use this to mark off my supply and demand zones. So 4 hour. All right, so the zone that I use like this zone right here, this little mini consolidation. You know what I'm saying? It broke below, but as long as it doesn't break below, like say this little mini downtrend right here, and then it continues down and then breaks this structure right here, you know what I'm saying? It's fine, below that point. So it broke below, pushed back up, so we all good. So I got my 4 hour demand, and let me drop to my 15 minute. Use my 15-minute time frame to draw 5-minute structure. So we're gonna come over here. Alright, so you got this high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, comes down, and then it breaks structure right here, made a higher low, higher high, and then it comes back into my demand zone. So my demand zone was, I believe, was it this candle? I think it was on the hour time frame, actually. Go to the hour. Okay, yeah. So I use this last sell to buy candle for my entry into right here. It was about 24 pip stop loss, and then my take profit was up here around 200 pips. This is where I got stopped out of profit at. So let me go on my 4 hour time frame. So I was actually shooting to hit, it was like 13%. So about around here. This was my actual take profits. And this was one mistake that I made, because I was in drawdown on my account, and I was really trying to make back the money, you know what I'm saying? Not really knowing it. I was just like, okay, I'm shooting for this zone. We're in the uptrend overall on the 4 hour time frame, so I'm shooting for this zone. So, but I was really just trying to make all of my money back, because I was really satisfied. If I wasn't in drawdown, I would have been satisfied with taking this trade right here, because it's about 8%. That's real good. So it was like a mental thing, but luckily I moved my stop loss and profit so that I didn't take a loss, or I just didn't have to experience this big push down. So how the trade went right here, I took partial profit around 96 pips, I think, and then my overall should have been here, because you got all of this consolidation right here, and that should have been a zone that I should have watched out for. So I should have taken full profit right there. And then the thing about it is, if it did go further, then that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it did go further, I should have been like oh well, I was right in the first place to, you know, look all the way up here and then not look at this zone, because the next time a trade setup like this happens, it might go here and then push all the way down and don't go further at all. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to really shift my mindset in that, especially when I'm in drawdown, because you know I think a certain way in drawdown, because I'm, you know, everybody want to make their money back, and especially with a funded account, you like you don't want to lose the account. If it's your own money, you know, so it's not that big of a risk, because with the challenge, you can't lose like 10% of your account, then 5% in one day. So I don't know. For me personally, it's scarier than having like your own account when you know, making trading decisions. So this was my trade on GJ, and I do want to show y'all a trade setup that I avoided for following my plan on here. So the same setup. Let me go back to the 15-minute. Okay, so this was my entry over here, but over here I avoided an entry. So what I'm looking for with my entry time frames, so say in this case price is, the lower time frame is in the downtrend, and then I'm waiting for price to break structure and then pull back to my zone and then keep going. You know what I'm saying? So that's one scenario. The other scenario is in the downtrend, it breaks structure, it makes a pullback but doesn't pull all the way to my zone, and then it makes a higher high and then pulls back. That's still valid for me. So the what happened up here wasn't valid. So what it did was downtrend, broke structure, and then it continued to create higher highs and higher lows. So once it makes that third high, then I delete my my buy limit or sell limit, whichever direction I'm trading in. I delete it, and then I wait for price to retest my supply or demand zone, and then I look for the trade setup all over again. So like you see right here, that's exactly what it did. Made a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It broke structure. This was the last high. It broke structure, made a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So at this point, I already deleted my entry. You know what I'm saying? I set my alert above the high to make sure it doesn't break and close above it. And if it does, then I just delete my entry. So, you know, it kept going, came up here, and then, you know, then it came all the way back down, and it would have retested my demand zone if I would have kept my buy limit open. So that's a trade that I avoided. And then as you can see, when I waited for price to retest the zone, then it created my exact entry. This was my high, my low, broke above, retested my zone, and then kept going. You know, went here, then shot up. So yeah, that's it. This was my entry, and then that was a trade that I avoided. You know what I'm saying, from sticking to my trading plan. So my next setup is on USD JPY. I like the Forex one. So let me go to the daily time frame. So I'm here. I'm gonna show y'all the trade that I took, and then two trades that I missed. You know what I'm saying? So first we're gonna start with the trade that I took. Daily time frame to draw 4-hour structure as usual. So we got this high, this low, this high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then a higher high. So I drop down to my 4-hour. So what I had was, I missed all of this. All of these, I could have caught an entry right here. That's the one I'm gonna show y'all that I missed. But the trade that I actually entered was right here from this low to this high. And then I had my 4-hour zone from this last sell to buy candle, dragged it over, and 15 minute. the 15 minute, I use my 15 minutes to draw 5 minute structure. So, technically the 5 minutes like my go-to entry, what I'm saying? My entry time frame. So anyways, we come here, it was a high, low, higher high, and then it came all the way back down to retest my zone. So my actual zone was on should be on a 4 hour time frame, I think. Okay, yeah. So this bearish candle right here was my zone. So from the body, not the wick, because the wick way too high, and that's my stop loss would be way too large for me personally. So and then let me drop down to the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, I would have to use this whole candle if I used the 1 hour, and like I said, my stop loss would have been way too high. And then even the 15 minute, I would have only used from here to here if I would have used like this little consolidation, but you see I would have never got tagged in. It was possible that I could have got tagged in because my entries are like 1 to 2 pips above the zone, because sometimes it happens like this to where it doesn't hit the exact zone but a little bit above. So that's just a key point. So but anyways, I use my 4 hour zone, use the bodies instead of the wicks because the risk to reward was better that way for me personally. So right above, it's 1 to 2 pips above the zone. So somewhere above there, my stop loss around like 34 pips, 35 pips. I got the magnet on, so it's like trying to stick to the candles. So it was around there like 34 pips. My target was actually higher, but as you can see, price only went to here then dropped. So I did manually take profit around like 60 something pips. I think like 69 pips, somewhere around here, because I was satisfied with my profits, and I was in this trade as well as GJ. So both at the same time, I was up a good percentage, and so I manually took my profits because I didn't want to like overdo it. And so looking like right after the trade, when I seen this big drop, I was like, oh, thank God I took my profits. But when I went to back test during the weekend, I was like, oh, I should have never even took this trade. So, this was my setup. Y'all see that. So now I'm gonna show y'all the trades that I should have taken. And this trade, I shouldn't have took it at all. I should have actually been in the opposite bias. My bias should have been selling instead of buying. So let me delete this and let me go to the daily. All right, so okay, so let me, not the daily, the weekly. All right, so the 4 hour time frame is still bullish, but the daily time frame overall is bearish. And let me explain. So we got this high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then this new high. So it did break structure. It did break structure, but for me to validate, well, for price to validate the uptrend, for me it has to, break structure, make a pullback, and then break structure again. So if price does this, it don't have to go that low. It don't matter how low it goes, but as long as it makes a higher low and then a higher high, then that for me that validates the uptrend. So then I would be looking for overall long-term buys. So right now it's just a long pullback to me. You know what I'm saying? So let me use the fib. So I used the fib on this high because it obviously broke this high. And so since we still looking for a downtrend, I'm going to use this high for my fib and then look for my supply and demand zones within the 50% zone of that. So obviously that's, up here. So my, I draw my zones on the 4-hour time frame. So remember, we're looking for overall, we're looking for sales once it reaches my zone. So right here, I use this zone, this little consolidation right here. So another thing I want to explain is why I didn't use like some of the other zones that you may be looking at if you trade supply and demand. So for me, this whole pullback from here all the way up here, all these zones are valid for your supply zones because this is the whole pullback on the daily time frame. So everything in between is valid. So obviously I don't want my zone very huge, so I don't want to use this last buy to sell candle. I don't want to use it. It's way too huge. Look at this compared to this one that I actually use. It's like 1/3 of the size. So I didn't use this zone because this a nice size zone, but this zone was closer to the high, to the daily highs. So this one was lower, this one was higher. That's the only difference. So for me, this zone, I was more comfortable using this zone than any other zones, and that's just from back testing and from my experience with actually trading, with taking losses or getting faked out from using like way too big zones, or using a zone like this and then it goes further. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically my reasoning for using this zone. So drag this zone all the way over. And you know what I'm saying? We marking this up based off the daily, so obviously it's gonna take a while to play out. So until price hits this zone, like I said, the 4-hour is still bullish. So we can look for buys up until this zone. And so if you remember my entry that I showed y'all that I actually got into, it was right here. So from this low, well, it wasn't even a low, but from this zone, from here, this was the trade that we got into. And you see it already test the daily supply zone. So that's why I said I shouldn't have even been inside this trade. I should have been looking for sales up here and been selling, from here all the way down, wherever my take profit was gonna be, which I will show y'all what it should have been. So for right now, we over here. So got this low, this high. But what time frame? Oh, we on the 4-hour. Let me go to the daily to draw my 4-hour structure. Okay, so this low, this high, this low, this high. So right here, once this created structure like this, I should have been looking for a entry down into here because it has not retested my supply zone yet. So for me, and my strategy is valid for me to look for buys because the 4-hour is bullish. So my zone from here to here, look for a zone in here. It's my 4-hour supply. I mean my 4-hour demand. Now I go for this entry. I told y'all the 5 minute is like my go-to, but if I find a setup on my hour, my time frames to entry is the 1 hour, 15 minute, and the 5 minute. That's it. So if I find an entry on whichever time frame I find an entry on first, that's what I enter on. I don't wait for just one time frame. I watch all of them simultaneously. I set my alerts, check them throughout the day, check my charts throughout the day to see if structure is creating like lower lows or is it starting to reverse. You know what I'm saying? I just continue to check my charts to find my entries on all the time frames. You know what I'm saying? Whichever one plays out first, that's the one that I use. So for this instance, I had to use the hour time frame to draw 15-minute structure. So, basically to simplify, I used the 15-minute time frame to enter this trade. So I just used the hour to mark it up. So the high, the low, higher high, I'm tripping. The high, the low, the lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Put this up there. Lower high, lower low. So you can see price broke structure right here, pulled back into my zone. So the zone that I use, well, the zone that I should have used, let me double check. I start off on the 4 hour to check for a supply demand zone, and then I work my way down to the hour. You know, this zone is huge, so I could use that zone if I don't find another zone to use. So drop down to the 15-minute. So I see a zone right up in here. So um, one thing that I don't usually show is I use the Fibonacci for my entries as well. So, you know, this is my low, this is my high. I will put my Fibonacci on, and I will only look for my zones below the 50% mark. So anything below this 50% is valid. So I'm gonna use my zone. I can use this last sell to buy candle, and you see I would have got triggered in right here, but if like, you know, if I didn't, because sometimes I don't get triggered in and it's like irritating, I have to do it manually. That's why I set my alerts on my entries as well. So I would have either got triggered in here, or if it didn't and I didn't enter manually, I would have got triggered in over here regardless. So got my long position, and then my stops are not below here. It's still below the protected low, which is down here. So stops down here. So it's about like, it would have been about 28 pips. I put it like 2 pips below the last low. Um, and then, like I said, we looking for buys right here until it hits our um, supply zone for the daily. So this would have been about 1 to 6 risk to reward. And then, you know, could have took to the 4 hour. Could have took partial profits, you know, down here, or you could have took them, you know, here or at this high right here, you know, at 2.8%, and then you would have took like 1.4% off, or you could have took it up here. You know, it really don't matter. So, but overall, I should have got into this buy down here and rolled it up here, and this trade should have never happened. And so the last trade I'm gonna show y'all will be the sell that I should have taken. So okay, so I told y'all we're gonna look for sales once we reach this zone. So once we reach it, you know, this is already my supply zone. So now I'm straight up looking for entry. So right after this trade plays out, once I get in here, I'm already looking for entries for the sale, because that's still the long-term bias, because the weekly is bearish, the daily is bearish. And so once I get one of my entry time frames to go bearish as well, once I see that, I got the weekly, the daily, and whatever entry time frame, all of those bearish versus the 4 hour being bullish. So I would, you know, rather go with the time frames that are bearish versus the 4 hour, which is still bullish, because that would eventually turn around based on all of my other time frames confluences. So once we reach it, now we looking for setups. So start on the hour time frame. Well, actually, check the 4 hour. 4 hour not valid for my 1 hour structure, because my low is all the way down here, and you know that's, you know, it's gonna take too long to play out if it even does play out. So 1 hour to drop 15-minute structure. So we got this low, this high, this low, this high. Break structure, pulls back. Okay, so right here, I can use my 4 hour time frame for my zone. You know, if I go to my hour, I could use, actually, let me go and put the fib on. I be forgetting to do that in my videos. Like, I do it when I actually trade, but in the videos, I be forgetting. All right, so use this as my zone. So anything above this is valid. I could have used this zone, um, but I don't even think it hit. Yeah, okay. So in this is a perfect example. This zone is valid. This last buy to sell candle, this zone is valid, but you see it didn't actually touch the zone. So that's why you want to put an alert, and you want to set your limit a little bit of below, so that you can get triggered in, or so that like your phone can text you and you can manually enter. You know what I'm saying? So, because price, don't be, it's not perfect. So it's not gonna do exactly what you want it to do. So you know what I'm saying? So if we would have entered here, stops would have been, you know, entry would have been there, stops would have been above here. We've been 49 pips. Or if you would have took the daily, not the daily, if you would have took the 4 hour zone, you would have definitely been entered in off the limit. You wouldn't have to enter in manually. And then you would have been here with a not much bigger, but a little bit bigger stop loss. About 59, I'll just say 60 pips. That's still fine though. Whichever one you would have decided to do would have been good. So this the entry, this the entry that I should have got in. You know what I'm saying? So let me go to the 4 hour. Oh, what just happened? USD JPY. I don't know why my computer been tripping lately. Then you would have went to the 4 hour. And so my take profit on this trade, I would have went break even, around these lows. I would have went break even, and then would have went break even and took partial profit. So to secure my profits and then go break even. So I would have did that, and then my overall take profit. Let me go on my daily time frame. Daily time frame to mark up my 4 hour structure. Okay, so I can see that, before this big push up, I would have took partial up in this area. Before this big push up, my other area to look at TPs is around here. So my take profits would have been somewhere around there. And let me get more precise on the 4 hour time frame. It would have probably been right at these lows, somewhere around there. So it's about 1 to 4, or close to 1 to 5. If your entry would have been like right here, and then you would have had to enter like manually, it would have been like 1 to 6. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the trade still went a little further. So, and then the market closed. So it might still drop, but for my strategy, the first zone, I take partial profit and go break even. The second zone is my overall take profit. So I wouldn't be holding this trade no longer. So I know it's like a long video, but you see on GJ, I showed you the buys, and I showed you what my take profit should have been. And I got a little carried away with trying to make back my money, but it still worked out. This trade, the buys right here still worked out. I caught about 60 something, 70 pips. That worked out too. But then I showed y'all the buys that I should have took was over here, and then bought it up into this zone for about, I forgot what percent it was, but it was like 1 to 5, 1 to 6 maybe, something like that. And then once it got into my zone up here, then I should have been looking for sales, because my weekly, my daily, and then my entry time frames was turned bearish. You know what I'm saying? So, and then my 4 hour broke this structure, so I'm more confident that it's gonna, reach my take profit. But the 4 hour is still not bearish until, like I said, because right now the 4 hour looking like this. It went up, broke structure, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It didn't give me the lower high, lower low to confirm the downtrend. So, but the majority is still bearish. So I would probably be looking for sales more than anything. So if I was to look for a trade setup now, you know what I'm saying, you want to wait for this trade to play out, because I don't think it's done playing out. But if it is, then same thing. I would set my fib to my high to my low, use a zone above my 50%, and then look for my entries. So this is a long video, but alright. So my other video of the charts ended on its own. Like, my computer been tripping, but um this is my FX books. I want to show you how this lasts. Y'all can see the chart. I was in drawdown about 5.5%, and then I'm up 2.61. You see the gains, the balance, the pips, average wins, losses, average trade length, and all of that. I'm going to, I think this show more details. I just linked it, so I don't really know too much about my FX book, because I always have my own trading journal, so I never really used anything like online. But yeah, it's another graph, show everything. Let me see, right here, trade history. So yes, it's everything. It's a GJ trade. This one right here for 2%. This one was this was the partial profit. The 4.3% was when it stopped me out in profit. So that one was about 207 pips. This one was 94 pips, and then this is the UJ trade for about 1.8%, 68 pips. So yeah, then this one, almost in this one for 24 hours, stopped me out a little earlier. 12 hours, 3 hours, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is my FX book. This is everything. You can pause the video and look at everything, and you can see like I got more L's than W's. So that shows you something, because I'm still up. You know what I'm saying? So I only risk 1%. Some of these positions, it's really one position. I just split it into two separate orders. So because you can see the same pairs, EA, EU. This one was 1%. This one, I got stopped out in profit. I mean, well, break even, really, a little bit in profit. You see 0.5 pips. So, these two was same trade, a little bit above 1%, probably because of spread or something like that, or commission. I mean, not commission, the swap fees. Um, And then, what I'm saying, you get it. So yeah, this the thing. This is my FX book. Got all the info right here. So whenever I got like a good amount of history, a couple more trades, every couple videos I like show y'all my FX book. Um, it's a way to like make it public, but I don't really know how to do it with a funded account, because you gotta like change the investor passwords or stuff like that. And I don't know if like I'm gonna lose my account if I do that, or I don't know. I don't even want to take the risk. So what I'm saying. I rather just show y'all. I rather just show y'all myself, and leave it at that. So, but yeah, thank y'all for watching. If y'all got any comments, let me know. Y'all got any advice on what I showed y'all, let me know. If y'all need some advice, let me know. Um, my YouTube is the same as my Instagram and stuff. You can text me on there too. So, but yeah, y'all just have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.